Joining us now is a man who did go through a coaching change, but it was in the offseason, you see. That happens in the offseason.
Right.
The first offensive coach came into his life since he had joined the Minnesota Vikings. And what has happened since then? Oh, I don't know, 7-1. A little Kirko change has been born. Swag and environment, one that is super positive. And now a team of destiny, some people are saying. Some people are joining their bandwagon at a rapid, alarming rate because of this man that's joining us right now. Quarterback out of Michigan State University. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, Kirko Chains.
Yeah!
Kirk, what's up, dude?
I'm doing well. I've heard Kirko Chains. I've heard Kirk Thugsons. So I've heard a few different names now, but I love it. It's a lot of fun. These flights back after wins from an away game are awesome.
Yeah, we talk about that, AJ and I, and obviously we're big fans of yours, and we thank you for joining us, especially after such a monumental win in your career where the crowd in Washington was chanting, you like that, and then you go back and get a big win and do the chant at the end with your teammates. It's awesome. Then Kirk goes on the plane, and those trips home, whenever you steal a victory on the road, which you're not supposed to, you have to if you're going to go win anything, not supposed to win on the road, are a great moment of coming together. And I think for us, it's kind of a spotlight of what your team is this year as a whole, as opposed to maybe in the past. And obviously winning brings a lot better camaraderie, but what is it about this team that is different than years past over there in Minnesota? And how much do you attribute that to Kevin O'Connell's presence every single day, Kirko?
Well, I think just finding the inches really at the end of games, end of half, in those crucial situations has made the difference. We were in every game nearly last year. We just lost a lot of those one-score games really on the final play or the final drive, and sort of find those inches this year has really been the difference. I think that, we haven't been able, outside of week one against the Packers, we really haven't been able to pull away from teams. And so it's required us to kind of find those inches at the end of the game. And it's really been defense. It's been special teams. It's been offense. It's been a variety of reasons. And so we've kind of had to win truly as a team. It hasn't been as much about any one phase of football or any one individual.
Nice.
What has O'Connell done and the rest of that staff to help you guys find those inches? Like all those plays here or there that end up winning games for you. Is it something you can point to?
The only thing I can really point to would be on Friday we do have a meeting. We've entitled, or Kevin entitled, Situational Masters. And so we watch around the league from the previous week what has happened, in those moments, good, bad, ugly, so that we can learn from what's been going on. And then we'll also show what happened in our game and be able to kind of learn from those examples. So the situations, the in-game stuff at the end of games is being coached on a weekly basis. And I'd like to think that, that makes a meaningful difference in the game. And I know every team is likely doing that, but I think that meeting has been very productive for us.
Whenever KOC and Kwesi were hired, you told us that there was maybe a text that you sent about what needs to happen in your eyes to have a winning program in Minnesota. How much of that did they listen to? How much of that have you experienced? And how freeing is it that you have a coach and a GM that kind of want your collaboration? And has that how it's always been?
Yeah, they've been great listeners, and I always want to give them the freedom, when I share anything or ask a question to say, hey, I don't have the answer either. I'm just saying, sharing something and then, you guys can do what you feel is best. And I understand that you have a job to do that's different from mine. And so, certainly you try to give some input at times when it's helpful. But at the same time, you also understand that, hindsight's 20/20, and they have a tough job and they have to make many, many decisions week in and week out to build this football team the way they want it. And it's really my job to go out and play at a high level such that those decisions can be proven right. And so, yes, to be at 7-1 after 8 games is an awesome start. But I do think that, we need to be playing our best football now in the second half of the season. And, you start to put a little bit of a target on your back with a better record. And so, and we've also got some really tough games up ahead here with the Bills and the Cowboys, got some good football teams. So, we've got to be on our best preparation here this weekend up ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got a target on you. You also have a big wagon behind you that people are jumping on. You're a fun team to watch. You are a fun team to watch right now. That offense is incredible. Defense flying around, like you're saying, special teams as well. It's a cool thing, Kirko. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Kirk, was one of the things you asked the GM and coach for was a all-pro tight end from the division to come over to the team and help you, and was part of your game plan going into this week, get TJ Hockenson involved right away?
Yeah, great question. So Kevin called me last Tuesday, and he said, "Hey, Irv's going to be out for several weeks, and we feel like we need to make a move. I just wanted you to hear it before you would, hear it publicly," which I obviously appreciate the call. He said, "We're going to go get," and before he says the name, I'm like, "Okay, who would this be? Who would this be?" And he's like, "TJ Hockenson," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I didn't think he was an option. Yes, please. So the challenge then was how does he help us right away? How does he learn the system that fast? And he did. Somehow, some way he did. He was there all game long, making plays for us. And I did not expect him to have 9 targets and 9 catches and to help us so much on third down, but he did. And that's a credit to him and the coaches getting him ready. But it'll be interesting to see as we go now, how we can kind of phase him into our offense and kind of use him to take some pressure off Justin and Adam and KJ and really help us while Irv's dealing with this injury.
Hey, how rare is that for a guy to come in like that at such short notice to have not only so many targets, so many catches, be productive, but like you said, he's playing the majority of the game. That's pretty tough on a week's notice, I feel like.
Well, and the tight end position, you got to be involved in the run game. You got to be involved in pass protection. You got to be involved in the route tree on third down. You got to know audibles, hand signals, code words. There's so much the tight end does where you can't really zoom focus on any one role. So we asked a lot of him, and he responded. And, it's going to be great to have him as a complement and to know that, if they're doubling Justin, if they have coverages, take away some different route concepts that we like to do with our receivers, to have that that tight end position there, it really helps.
We had him to score a touchdown. Seems like you thought the same thing. I'm excited to see what you end up doing with him. And once again, shout out to the Lions, trading him away in the division.
Yeah.
Kirko, you can't laugh at that. Shout Obviously, out. You're not allowed to do that, especially at this moment. Hey, on the video of you dancing with 2 watches, 10 chains, and Kirk Thuggins and Kirko chains, little Kirko, not enough was said. Hey, we're talking 8-pack in there. Hey, We're talking 8-pack in there. Good rhythm, yoked up.
Get drug tested?
What are we? Is there a different? Is this how you've always been? Did we just not ever see you shirtless, thugging around on planes? Have you always been absolutely strapped, or have you had to change the way you treat your body as you've gotten older in the NFL?
I have always been absolutely strapped. More so in college, in college, and you guys live this if you remember. The college lifts, they are meant to make you look good at the beach. And you better believe by my senior year, I looked good at the beach. Okay. I really couldn't move very well, but I looked good at the beach. And so in the pros, I've kind of backed off the heavy lifting and tried to to just take it back, dial it down a notch, and work more on movement, flexibility, tissue work, and stuff like that. But man, my best days are probably coming out of college. I remember at the Senior Bowl when you had to stand.
Jeez, Kirk, look at you. Kirk, look at you.
There it is.
Look at the feet on there. Kirk is. God. Jeez, Kirk.
I'm probably one of the lighter quarterbacks in the NFL, though. Gary Kubiak used to say, "Hey, what did you weigh in at this week?" Because he was pretty concerned about how light I am, because I am pretty lean. I'm not a big hipped guy, not a broad shouldered guy. So I have to be smart. I have to chuck and duck and understand my limitations. But I try to play smart and still be able to make it work, even though I'm only 200 pounds out there.
I cut you off there. What were you going to say at the Senior Bowl when you were getting height and weight? You just walked out and started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Senior Bowl is like the only time where you walk around shirtless in front of people. And my agent texted me after I weighed in. He's like, "I'm getting a bunch of texts from scouts that you looked yoked."
Hey,
so I appreciated that. But then I came to learn that guys like Eli Manning and Drew Brees and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, who go to Super Bowls and go to the Hall of Fame and play 17 years, that they don't really look that great with their shirt off. So I realized that's really not the goal. The goal is to do the stuff on the field that they've done. And so I kind of started to dial it back.
I don't know. I saw you with a 19-yard scamper for a touchdown as well. I'm seeing you with an 8-pack now. I think there needs to be a little bit more respect put on Kirk Thuggin's athletic ability and how much of a study he is. Ty, your question for Kirk Cousins.
Kirk, you mentioned the tough games that you guys have coming up, and although you're 5 games up in the loss column in the North, and it seems like you basically have won the division, how do you guys keep that chip on your shoulder when you're continually winning and looking good and having so much fun on the plane? Like, how is it? I mean, is it hard to not maybe kind of get a little taste of that success and kind of overlook what you guys have ahead of you, or do you realize hey, this is a team that could legitimately go win the Super Bowl, so having that chip on the shoulder isn't that difficult?
I think we are not winning that convincingly. I do think that there's a lot of room for improvement in the way we're playing. And so I think we walked away from a few of these games saying, I'm so glad we won, but we've got to play better. And so there's that part of it that I think gives us all an edge. I think also in 2020 and 21, we lost so many close games, felt like we had a really good football team, but just, came up really one game short in both years of making the playoffs. And so those experiences the last 2 seasons, I think, stay with you, and it forces you to kind of keep that edge and not leave anything to chance. So I think this group knows what it takes to win in this league, and it's starting to show. But those past experiences, I think, help us to keep our edge. And playing at Buffalo this week also is going to keep you with that edge, because that's a tough place to play.
Hey, they're going to be pissed too. I don't know. They lost to the Jets. I don't know how much you pay attention to everybody else. That is going to be a frustrated football team. We hope Josh keeps the mustache in. Last question here from Tone Diggs for you, Kirk.
Kirk, you talk about chucking and ducking. There was a play yesterday. You took a deep shot to Justin Jefferson. You took a shot to the ribs. Did not look like it felt good. Did he thank you for that? How the ribs feeling today?
Yeah, I got the wind knocked out of me. I'm doing fine now. I just need to catch my breath for a second. So I just kind of laid there to make sure I could breathe. And then I had to come out for one play and then was able to get right back in. So I'm surprised it doesn't happen more where the wind gets knocked out of you just because of how often you get hit. But we're all good now, and we'll get some good treatment this week and be ready to go for Sunday.
Did you have the was that like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, full on. Hey, that's scary. Don't you think you're going to die out there? And there's some moments where you're like, if I die, I die. I guess you have said that. But there's times where you think you say you're never going to breathe again, right? And there's some of that thought out there. Were you having that on the field or no?
You do have that thought for a second that you're in a dark place and you'd like to get out of it. I remember whoever hit me, Payne or whoever hit me pretty good. And I'm kind of, I don't know what I sounded like, but I must have been like, because as he walked by me, as he got up, he goes, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So I must have been moaning or something.
Well, keep enjoying yourself, man. It's a lot of fun to watch. Maybe are you going to get a couple chains for yourself, or how many did you have on yesterday?
I think that's the natural next step.
Yeah.
I think more chains is the natural next step. I mean, at some point when you're wearing 7 or 8 and your shirt's off, I don't really know where it goes from here unless I go get my own. I mean, we've got a lot more away games. So if we win one of these away games, I just don't know where to take it from here. So natural next step would be to get my own.
You got to get
a grill.
Ooh, you got to get a grill.
A grill.
Yeah, I think we appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Quarterback of the Vikings, who are 7-1, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk!
Thank you, Kirk. Hey, we're talking.
Yeah. Looks good, doesn't he? Yeah, man.
Dude, it is a full-on
Olympic
Impressive.
swimmer.
Yeah.
He looks fucking unbelievable. Yeah. Everybody's talking about the chains, which are awesome. And I'm sorry, Rappaport, we didn't ask if his glasses were prescription.
Whoops.
Jeez. But he's doing his dance, and doing the whole thing. And then I'm looking at him like, well, goddamn, Kirk is fucking strapped, dude.
Shit.
And he's like, yeah, no change here. Yeah, I've always been absolutely yoked up. Don't worry about it. He's having his best year, living his best life. I'm happy for Kirk, thankful that he joined us.